You've probably heard Jacksonville is massive, the biggest city by landmass in the entire country. But what nobody really tells you is how that size translates into traffic. You don't get gridlock like LA or New York, but then again, you might be shocked at just how long it takes to get from one part of town to another, especially if you accidentally time it with rush hour, a bridge opening, or one of our ongoing construction zones. And let's be honest, no one wants to relocate for more space, better schools, or beach access, only to spend 45 minutes in a car each morning. So let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, I'm Josh Rogers with the F3 Home Team. I help families from all over the country relocate to Jacksonville and St. Johns County, and traffic is always one of the top concerns. That's why today we're diving deep into what traffic is really like in Jacksonville in 2025, and more importantly, how it plays out depending on where you live. So if you're seriously considering a move and want a local expert who knows the area to help you find a home that fits your values and family needs, just shoot me a text. I'd be happy to walk you through it all. So let's start with Southside, which includes neighborhoods like Deerwood, Bay Meadows, and everything around the St. John's Town Center. This area has exploded in popularity because it's close to corporate hubs like Merrill Lynch, Florida Blue, and the Mayo Clinic. And for people who work in these offices, the proximity is a dream. Your commute might only be 5 to 15 minutes, depending on where you live. But here's the trade-off. Traffic within Southside itself is some of the worst in the city during peak times. J. Turner Butler Boulevard, or JTB as locals call it, cuts through this area and feeds into both the beaches and I-95. Between 7:15 to 8:30 in the morning, and again from 4:30 to 6:15 in the evening, traffic tends to pile up heading in both directions. You've got folks coming from the beaches heading to work and others trying to cut across town to get home. And don't forget the town center, Jacksonville's shopping and dining mecca. Around lunchtime and weekends, traffic here can be a total headache. Think backups at lights, hard to find parking, and slow-moving lanes from Gate Parkway all the way to Kernan Boulevard. Now, the good news is that infrastructure improvements are underway. They've expanded parts of Gate Parkway and added flyovers near Southside Boulevard to improve flow. But if you plan on living in this area, it's a good idea to work nearby or have a flexible schedule so you're not stuck in the worst of it. And if you're planning to raise a family here, keep in mind, school drop-off lines can create their own mini traffic jams. Next up is the beaches, and if your dream is to live near the ocean, then you've probably looked at Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, or Atlantic Beach. These are amazing places to live if you love outdoor living, walkable restaurants, local breweries, and morning surf sessions. But if you're commuting out of the beaches for work, let's talk about what that drive looks like in real life. The biggest issue here isn't necessarily distance, it's access. There are only 3 main roads that funnel traffic from the beaches back into Jacksonville: Beach Boulevard, Atlantic Boulevard, and JTB. During normal hours, these roads are totally manageable, but during rush hour, especially heading west in the morning and east in the evening, they get backed up quickly. Atlantic Boulevard, for example, often slows to a crawl at the bridge over the Intracoastal Waterway. Same with JTB. And if there's an accident, lane closure, or even just a disabled vehicle, your 25-minute commute can instantly double. Now, if you live and work near the beaches or you're remote, this won't affect you much at all. Many of my buyers are people who used to commute but now work from home and just wanted a lifestyle upgrade. They bike to coffee shops, walk to dinner, and rarely need to hit I-95. But for those commuting to places like downtown, the South Bank Medical District, or even the airport, it's important to know exactly where you're coming from and where you're going. There are also smaller roads like Wonderwood Expressway and Mayport Road that can help you bypass the worst of it, but they're not perfect. Now let's head over to Mandarin, which is a very popular choice for families who want a suburban feel, bigger lots, mature trees, and strong public schools. The Mandarin area runs along the eastern edge of the St. Johns River, with neighborhoods off San Jose Boulevard and Old St. Augustine Road. It's peaceful, established, and filled with parks, schools, and river access. But let's talk about traffic. San Jose Boulevard is the main artery through Mandarin, and during peak times, it gets congested fast, especially near Loretto Road, Clare Lane, and Sunbeam Road, where you have multiple schools, retail centers, and intersections all packed within a few miles. On weekday mornings and evenings, traffic tends to build up northbound as people head toward I-295 or downtown, and then again southbound when they head back home. Now, the positive side to this is that most traffic isn't dead stopped. It's slow, but moving. And locals usually learn how to time their trips, leave early, or take neighborhood shortcuts to avoid the messiest intersections. If you need to commute from Mandarin into downtown Jacksonville, NAS Jax, or even St. Johns County, it's totally doable. but expect about 25 to 40 minutes depending on the time of day. And the key variable here is access to I-295 because that loop gives you a ton of flexibility in getting across town. The other thing to note is school traffic. Mandarin High, Mandarin Oaks, and a handful of charter schools all contribute to serious congestion from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. and again from 2:15 to 3:30 p.m. But if you're someone who works remote, owns a business, or can stagger your day a bit, this area gives you a ton of value and livability without the long-haul commuting that newer developments further south might come with. So here's the bottom line. Jacksonville traffic isn't a nightmare like you see in major metros, but it does have pockets of real frustration. The biggest factor isn't how far you live from work. It's which roads and bridges you rely on, what time you're driving, and whether your neighborhood has good access to major arteries or not. That's why choosing the right place to live is so critical if you want to avoid traffic stress and actually enjoy your lifestyle here. And listen, if you're seriously thinking about making the move to Jacksonville and traffic is one of your big concerns, just text me. I'll help you map out neighborhoods that fit your family, your budget, and your commute goals so you're not caught off guard later on. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.